So wrong.
All right, algebra kiddos. So this problem right here, can somebody read it? How would you say this problem out loud? The whole problem, out loud, how do you say it? You're telling me how to write it. The question that I'm asking is, what's happening right there? Multiplication. So I could read this by saying x plus 3 times x minus 8 equals 0.
0.
Say that again.
0.
Very good. Shelby is exactly right. One of those two sets of parentheses has to be 0. Either this set of parentheses equals 0, or this set of parentheses equals 0. And Shelby gave a perfect explanation why. Because if you multiply two things together and the answer is 0, one of those two things is 0. The only way you can multiply and get 0 is by multiplying by 0. If you multiply by anything else, you get a non-zero number. So either x plus 3 is equal to 0, or x minus 8 is equal to 0. And that means this problem has two solutions. Yes, ma'am?
I think x minus 8, variable x might be, variable x might be 8 equals to 0. So she can multiply for the answer in the first place.
So Shelby is taking this second set of parentheses here. And she's saying, okay, one possibility is that this set of parentheses is equal to 0. And then she solved it. She said, I think the value of x is 8 here because if I then add 8 to both sides of this equation, I get x equals 8. So one of the solutions to this problem is x equals 8. In fact, I can go back to the original problem and check it by replacing the x with 8. So 8 plus 3 is 11. 8 minus 8 is 0. And it turns out 11 times 0 is 0. So 8 is the answer. And when I say the answer, I mean an answer, because this problem has two solutions. Shelby found the first one. She said if that set of parentheses, x minus 8, is equal to 0, the whole thing 0, done. But we had two sets of parentheses. Very good. The first set of parentheses could also equal 0. And Shelby solved this one by subtracting 3 from both sides. And she said, oh, so another possibility is that instead of 8, x actually equals -3. So let's check that one. Let's check that answer before we wreck that answer. Right, kids? Right, Mr. Taylor? You're such a good teacher and always on the cutting edge of slang. So -3, -3. Replace the x with -3, which I think is the other answer. So -3 plus 3 is 0. And -3 minus 8 equals -11. And hey, what do you know? 0 times -11 is 0. So there are two answers to this problem. Answer number 1, x equals 8. Answer number 2, x equals -3. And in quadratics, which is what we're solving, there very often are two answers. Sometimes there's only one, but usually there's two.
I have a question.
Yes?
I look at it and how we solved it, and before we got our answer, both of the numbers are like but switched and the 11
Mm-hmm.
negative, the other one is positive.
Mm-hmm.
But they are like, but they were switched and
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's an excellent observation.
does that mean that with equations like this, they will almost always be similar, like both of the equations or answers?
Trying to decide if the answer to your question is almost always or just always. Might be all the time. Never really thought about it before, but it happens a lot. Cool? All right. I hope you see where this is going, because the problem that I just gave you was already factored. That one is not. So the first step to solving this would be to factor it. What are the numbers? Yes, and? Good.
He asked me.
I asked her because factoring is all over the place on the math competition. She didn't say it out loud, so you can still do it. Both parentheses start with x because it's x squared. And I need two numbers that will do what? That's a good thing to check for greatest common factor. This one doesn't have it. I need two numbers that when I multiply them, I will get all right, let's draw the x. At the top of the x, I have a is 1, b is negative 14, c is 45. At the top of the x, I have 1 times 45, which is 45. In the bottom, I have negative 14. So I'm looking for two numbers that will do what?
When you multiply them, you'll get 45, and when you add or subtract them, you'll get 40.
Matt, thank you, Brock. Very helpful. When I multiply, I get 45. When I add, I get negative 14. Brock says use math. Very helpful, Brock. Technically correct. What are the numbers? Say it again.
9 and 5.
Very good, 9 and 5. But when I add them, I get negative 14. So negative 9 and negative 5. Good. Very good job, Sierra. All right, there we go. Now, when we did factoring, we stopped here. Now we're going to take it a step further and solve it. So what do I do? If multiplying them together gives me a product of 0, one of those two parentheses has to be 0. Either the first one or the second one.
So it could be like the second set of parentheses would be 5 minus 5.
Mm-hmm.
The first one would be 9 minus 9.
I'm going to take both sets of parentheses, set them equal to 0. This is probably not the hardest algebra you're going to do today. Add 9 to both sides. So one of my solutions, I think, is 9. Pretty sure the other solution is 5. I'm pretty sure. But also, I don't have a lot of confidence, man. Not a lot of, ever since Abby Burton stood me up at the homecoming dance. Not a lot of confidence. Why?
You have a wife.
I had a beautiful homemade mom for you. So let's check and see if we're right. So let's try 9 first. So I'm going to do, my original problem was x squared minus 14x plus 45 equals 0. And I'm going to replace the x with 9. You looked away for 1 second? Don't do that anymore. Every second of this class is solid gold. If you miss even 1 second, you're doomed. Or alternatively, only 1 second of this is educational, so you don't want to miss that one. 9 squared is 81. 14 times 9 is 126. And 81 plus 45 is 126. Hey, 126 minus 126 is 0. Oh. I'm going to do the same thing with the number 5, just to make sure I'm right. Again, the formula was x squared minus 14x plus 45 equals 0. That was the original problem. And I'm going to replace the x's with 5. Just like I replaced Abby Burton with somebody even better, my cousin. 25. 14 times 5 is 70. $25 and 45 is 70. And 70 minus 70 is 0. So I got 2 answers. My answers are 9 and 5. Yes. Yes, I am. Now, another way that these problems are written, and the math is the same, but you'll see them written in a slightly different way, is instead of saying solve, it'll say find the roots. And it will give you an equation like the kind you would type into the calculator. Find the roots means find the x-intercepts, find the solutions. So find the roots just means take that equation and set it equal to 0 and solve it.
Oh, wait, so all is equal to 0.
Yeah, you can't solve these by factoring unless it equals 0. Mm-hmm. But before you factor it, this one has a greatest common factor. So don't jump straight to your 2 parentheses. There's a GCF here. What's the greatest common factor of 6x squared, negative 2x, and negative 20?
I mean, 2.
Mm-hmm. How about 2? So you pull in a 2 out of everything. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 20 divided by 2 is 10. Now we factor. I'm going to need the big old X.
Okay, so wait, hold on. What do we do with the 2 outside parentheses?
Nothing for now.
So A
These.
equals 30. B equals -1. So 1 has to be positive. So 2 times 10 equals 30.
Mm-hmm. But will 3 plus 10 in some way give us -1?
So I have no idea what you just.
I like 6 and 5. 6 times 5 is 30, but I don't want 30, I want -30. So one of those needs to be negative. The 6, very good. Okay, so I'm going to take the 3x squared minus x minus 10. And I'm going to put my two numbers, 6 and 5, in there. The 2 can just live outside for now. He's been a bad number. He knows what he did. Outside.
Stay on the board.
Who wants to go outside? Who wants to go outside? Who's a good factor?
Factor P on the board. You had to have a
Did he pee on the floor, or was it a number 2? Okay, let's group them. GCF of 3x squared and 6x. How about 3x? Leaving me with
Yep. 2x.
mm-hmm. Yep. Leaving me with? No, X was right. Confidence, dude. Confidence. What's 10 divided by 5? I think 2. That's what my groovy rainbow calculator says. So my 2 parentheses are going to be x minus 2 and 3x plus 5. And don't forget about our little 2 on the outside. Now, Shelby asked the question a little while ago, which was, what do we do about the 2? Which is a really good question. But remember that this is all multiplication. This is 2 times x minus 2 times 3x plus 5. So if the 2's a problem for me,
Oh wait, multiply the things inside it.
I'm just going to divide both sides by 2.
No, that's
So those cancel, leaving me with x minus 2 and 3x plus 5. Turns out 0 divided by 2 is 0. Voila, as the Peloponnesians say. Voila is French for boom goes the dynamite.
Yep, that sounds right.
Trust me, I Googled Eiffel Tower once. I know what I'm talking about.
I think the first people are nodding that was right.
One time I Googled Eiffel Tower and then took a sip of overpriced coffee. I'm basically French. Also, I've lost every fight I've been in and have surrendered almost immediately.
Oh, so you are French.
I'm basically French.
Is X the first variable is 2?
I have a gun in my house that has never been fired and has been dropped once. I'm essentially a member of the French military. I can say whatever I want about French people. What are they going to do? Come fight me? Yeah, right.
We give up.
Such an American thing to do, to criticize people because they refuse to fight.
Honestly, though.
You're so peaceful and easy to get along with, scumbags. USA. I'll bet Paris has never even thought about seceding from France. Wimps. Your harmony. I spit on your harmony. And my spit is very thick because I do not have enough water in my system, because when I'm thirsty, I drink Coke. So 3x minus 5, and then we'll divide by 3, which gives us x equals, I'm just going to leave it as negative 5/3. If I divided it out, it would give me negative 1.6666666666667. So I'm just going to leave it as negative 5/3.
Is that possible?
Is what possible?
Have a fraction and x equal a fraction?
Oh, sure.
So this is how we equation?
For any type of equation. X can always be a fraction. In fact, x always is a fraction.
Or it'd be right though.
The answer is always a fraction now that I think about it.
Yeah, you could just put it over 1.
The answer is 4. That's a fraction, 4/1.
Fraction.
Let me give you one more problem. Let's see if you can go the other direction. If I tell you the zeros of a function are -4 and +2, can you write the quadratic function? Guess I should say write the quadratic function.
So it always equals 0.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you what the answers are.
Right.
This is
Yeah, I can write it.
Jeopardy. All right, challenge accepted.
And we can have 2 answers, correct?
Not only can you, you have to, because I told you the answers are -4 and 2.
Okay.
You are required by the laws of math to have 2 answers. And by laws of math, I mean the sentence of this problem.
And so these are the answers, which would be the variable, right?
Yes, if I solved it, that's what I would get for the variable.
Okay, so I'm going to put that in. X is going to be the variable.
We make x the variable because the letter x does so little in every other part of our lives. Almost no words have x in them.
Or B.
I mean, z is more common than x, I think. I guess x does play a starring role in tic-tac-toe.
In xylophone. First one can be X
It marks the spot.
X plus 4.
Yep.
Second one can be negative.
So what would the parentheses be?
Oh, we have to answer. This is just the equation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to write another one as well.
No, it's just what goes in the second set of parentheses.
X plus 2. No, X plus negative.
Yeah, x plus negative 2, or you could just do x minus 2. So Shelby took a while on that problem, but now that she has done it, could you tell Shelby a shortcut to go straight to the parentheses? Look at the numbers I gave you and look at what the parentheses look like. How can I just go like straight there to the answer without all that pesky learning in math?
I was trying to make sure I was right.
I just flipped the signs. Negative 4 was one of my answers, so I did x plus 4. Positive 2 was the other answer, so I did x minus 2. And now if I really wanted the quadratic function, I might go ahead and multiply them together. X squared. This would be negative 2x plus 4x, which is plus 2x. And then minus 8. And I like this one too. If I really wanted to be cool, I could multiply everything by a constant also. I could say, actually, it's 2x squared plus 4x minus 16 equals 0, because that also has the same answers. If I just double everything. Or I could multiply everything by pi. 2 pi x squared plus 4 pi x minus 16 pi equals 0. Now this technically correct. Can't spell technically. Technically correct, but please don't.
I'm not that smart. Okay, you don't have to worry about that.
I could multiply everything by pi over 2.5, but I don't recommend it. Seems like a bad idea. And the reason it seems like a bad idea is because it is a bad idea.
Do you think if we did that at the math station, they would prove it wrong?
No, but they'd think there was something wrong with you. Well, in your case, they would find out that there's something wrong with you. Does anyone have any questions about the zero product property? Other than I should probably practice factoring, right? And the answer is yes. Yes, you should. Factoring won't really ever go away. In fact, you saw the geometry class do factoring today. Yes? When it comes to factoring, it can't stop, won't stop, as the kids say.
My brain is very slow.
Let's see if we got any questions in the chat. I found a snail in the backyard and ate it. I am also French. X-Men is an important word with X in it. Okay. I can't disagree with any of that. Brock, your contributions are fabulous as always.